Howdy folks, it's Talter here and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. We're continuing with the Discover Norway bush trip today. Leg 4, one leg per video. I assume you've seen the first 3, so let's just get going. Alright, so we're going to come down here, do a repair and refuel. Looks like it already is though. Okay, that's kind of weird. Let's see. We are headed where to? I'm just looking where we are on the map here. We are headed to Bravo Romeo. Echo November Bravo Romeo. About half an hour away. It's about 45 minutes for us because it always takes us longer. The first place we're headed is Haugesund. One's in the sky again. Aim north-northwest and in 33 nautical miles you'll reach the coastal city of Haugesund. Alrighty, so that is 339 degrees for 11 minutes. So let's first of all get the pitot heat down. Whoops. Oh, my stuff is off because I didn't leave my stuff on when it loaded. Forgot about the start when you're running thing. There we go. Okay. We'll get the timer. Oh, no, this one. We'll get the timer ready to go. We'll turn off the insert because I can't stand it. No wind data, that's fine. No GPS track, that's fine. Let's get our autopilot ready to go. Well, let's see. Coming here, we had to get pretty high, but a coastal city at 300 and some degrees, did it say? We're probably going due north pretty much, so we don't need much altitude, I don't think. I wouldn't think that we need much altitude, so let's just go at 2,500 feet so we can see stuff. Well, let's say at 2,000, and then if we need to, we'll climb, but we'll do 2,000 feet. We're going to use heading, and we're going to climb at a nice 600 feet per minute. And that heading was, what, 339 degrees. So that's what we'll do. We'll hand fly out of here and then use autopilot just so we can sightsee. We've done it every way with autopilot, with heading bug, hand fly the whole thing, using the GPS if it's good to go, like the first leg, that type of thing. What was it, 336 or 9? 9. There we go. Simple enough. Alright, not much to say because we do this all the time, and I assume you watch most of the videos. If not, once it flaps, then maybe you'll get the gist of it anyway. Alrighty, we're good to go, right? Let's just have a quick peek, see around where we are, so we can get a good view of the airport. There's the ocean. Looking back the way we came over the mountains. Just amazing. Oh, look at that view. It's particularly awesome. Alright, here we go. Anything else? I feel like I'm missing something. Well, we have a map here we don't need. Let's see. Yeah, so we're gonna go look for Haugesund, and then in about 11 minutes or so we will check out the next place that we're headed. So here we go. Let's put that away, take out the park and brake, and give it some juice, and there we go. And once we get in the air, we will start the timer, use autopilot for the heading bug, and then sightsee. Alright, already lift off here. And the Bonanza, one of my favorite aircraft in the sim. There we go. Upsy daisy. Gear up. And flaps coming in. Keep the props out of the red. And start the timer. Can't really see what I'm doing this far away, so let's do that again. There we go. Timer is running. And head towards our heading bug here. Have a look out the window. We are still hand flying. And the co-pilot has a few words to say. Let's nose down a little bit here. There we go. That beeping like an outer marker. That did not sound like an outer marker. I don't know what that is. Alright. 340. Wait, well, 336, not 346. 339, whatever. Alrighty, cool. We are cruising along. We're headed towards those mountainous areas, I guess. I don't know where the city is. I have not looked it up on Google Maps. So, I'm not terribly worried about it. Alright, let's engage autopilot now, just so we can start looking around already. There we go. We are hands-free. We don't have to be hands-free. It's just easier to look around. Adjusting those props. And let's look around outside a little bit together, and then we'll move on to sightseeing like usual. And those of you who do not see every video, even though I cut down the sightseeing just for time, you don't miss anything. I make sure to include everything in the visuals. Ooh, look at that mall down there or something. That's awesome. I include everything in the visuals so you don't miss anything, but I just cut it out for time. Alrighty, this is incredible scenery. Sometimes it's good, like this is like 10 out of 10 scenery, but not yesterday, the last flight we did, the last leg we did, the scenery is like a 5 out of 10 in terms of like quality. I don't mean like how gorgeous, I just mean like the quality, like, you know, satellite imagery mixed with autogen, like right there, that's amazing, right? That's a 10 out of 10. But we had some stuff yesterday when all those mountains out was just awful. I don't know why. Alrighty, we're headed, come on, reset camera, there we go. We're headed this way towards the city for whatever minutes. What's your altitude like? We're coming up on altitude. Are we going to clear that stuff up there? I think we are. Yep, we are. Ooh, islands. You know how I am about islands. I love them little tiny islands. Alright, I'm going to turn you loose to some sightseeing. Not much to really ramble about. I don't feel like rambling as much today as usual. So I will see you in about 8 or 9 minutes, and we'll resume seeing a little bit. Alright, there is Hazeland off the nose, starting over here with the big bridge, and then heading north. There we go. There it is. There is our first POI point of interest. So let's talk about the next one. The small city of Leirvik lies 24 nautical miles north-northeast from Hagesund on the southern coast of the island of Stord. Alright, so we're going to go 14 degrees now for 8.5 minutes, or 8 minutes 4 seconds. I keep thinking that's like 8.4. It's not, it's 8.4. Alright, 14 degrees. And I'm just looking at the city though. Actually, let's hop outside first. It'll throw us off a tiny bit on our heading, but let's just check this out. And again, the series is dedicated to like a Minecraft community friend of mine who lives in Norway. Just so he can see everything from the air and correct me if there's everything I get wrong. There we go, looking good. Alrighty, let's put the toys away here and head 14 degrees, which is going to be this way. And there is 14. Stop and restart the clock. Look out the window quickly while we make a turn over the city. Move over here. There we go. Look out the back window a little bit, because why not? It's great for the immersion. Alright. Cool. Alright, 14 degrees for 8 minutes 4 seconds. We are probably good on altitude. Leirvik on the southern shore of an island, so we can figure this out. So southern is down, so southern shore would be over here, And an island is probably in one of these areas, I'm guessing. If we think 8 minutes, because from down there to there was 11, so that would be 8. Yeah, I'm guessing our destination is like here somewhere. Maybe even further, actually. Maybe it's over here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll look for a tiny city 8 some minutes out. And, yeah, that's all we're going to do. Alright, very simple and making it more complicated than it needs to be. I'm just worried about altitude. So, let's see. Okay, let's say we are heading to either that southern shore or that southern shore. Where is this terrain that we see in the distance? Way back here. And what are we doing afterwards? We're going the same heading. We're going to do the same heading pretty much for another 8 minutes, which means it's going to put us right into that train. So we might do, because we're going to head over this, is we might actually just keep our altitude, and when we get to this area, we'll adjust and go around the terrain maybe, because then we're looking for Bjorn the Fjorden. I practiced this, and I can't say it. Bjorn the Fjorden. Bjorn the Fjorden. Which I assume is like this here, I think. I'm guessing. Maybe it's further down. I don't know. But either way, I don't want to climb too high and not be able to see the cities. So I think what we'll do is we'll navigate around terrain without gaining altitude, which is another way to do these trips. So many ways to do them. So that's the plan. I'm probably not going to stick to it. But anyway, I'll see you at our next little town before we crash into the mountains and enjoy the sightseeing. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I'm going to adjust our heading for a couple reasons. One, we're looking for a coastal town, and we're getting over the coast. Probably because we're cruising really fast, because we're only 6 minutes in. It's supposed to be 8 something, so let's turn and get over a little bit. There we go. Even more. Even more. Go along the coast. There we go. There's some coastal stuff here. There's a town in there. I bet that's our town right there, maybe. Yeah, probably. Because that would be about the timing. So let's hop aside for a second and look. Yep. So it's probably this little village there. Is our Leirvik, or whatever it was called. We're going to navigate around this train and then head to Bjornfjorden. Bjornfjorden. I'm adding syllables, I think. Bjornfjorden. Yep, there it is. There's a little town right there. Alrighty, awesome. Actually, let's stay outside a second and look at it, just because we're gonna go around these mountains. There we go. Let's go like this. Oh, that looks great. Does that look awesome? Yep, they got a track in a field, and they got boats underwater, which I think is hilarious. That is a tiny town. I guess it sprawls into the woods, into the forest. It's just hard to see. But look at that train ahead of us, too. Not the mountains on the left, but the small hills in front of us. That's amazing. Alrighty, if you want to look more, you can pause it, rewind the tape, whatever, but it's time to navigate the airplane. So here we go. So we're supposed to be back at 13 degrees, but not quite yet. But let's restart our timer anyway. And then we'll move the heading buggy around the train back to 13 degrees. Continue for another 20 nautical miles, brings you over the heart of the large, scenic Bjornfjord. Oh, there is an extra syllable that I was doing that correctly. Bjornfjorden. Bjornfjorden. Nope. Bjornfjorden. I think I'm getting worse as I try. So let's stop talking. 13 degrees now. 7.5 minutes. Let's quickly go down this waterway here. Quickly. I can't really see 13 degrees. I think that says 16 down there. Yep. 14, 13. There we go. Are we going to clear that train though? No, we're not. So let's keep going this way. I don't want to climb. I want to stay nice and low for this. Some of the bush trips we actually climb to altitude and stay above the terrain, but then other times you like to go below the terrain and do more like the actual, bush trip flavor where you are actually in the terrain. Here we go. Let's get around this. There we go. So where are we headed? We're headed to the large scenic Bjornfjorden, 8 minutes out or so, which I assume is this big thing right here. So we're just going to navigate with heading bug through here and end up in the big body of water. That is my plan. Yeah, we can stay like this. Perfect. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So instead of cutting you loose for sightseeing, I think I'm going to keep you with me for some of this portion, just so we can look at this stuff together and navigate this together. Wow, this is amazing. Have I been to Norway? No. Those of you who are here for story time, I haven't told stories in many videos. I should probably talk story time a little bit. First of all, check out that road. Reminds me of a whole bunch of racing games, like the original Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 or whatever it's called. I can't remember. But it reminds me of that. Look at this. Look at that. I love being below the terrain. So much more interesting than flying at 10,000 feet and just going across everything. See that river coming through? Isn't that something? Just carved its way right on down. Alrighty. We do have to navigate though. So let's start turning to the right a little bit. There we go. Just ever so slightly to put us in the middle of this huge body of water. Point the nose over there a little bit more. Right over that opening. Point your nose at the opening. Come on, a little bit more. There we go. Alright. What can I say about Norway? I've never been. I would love to be there. In my wife's high school and college years, her wife would go to Norway every year because her great-grandparents are from Norway and Sweden. So my wife is 75% Norwegian, 25% Swedish, although she looks very Swedish. If you look at pictures in her younger years, like up through grad school, she looked like a Swedish model, like cliche, blonde, super fair. If you said she was Swedish, no one would doubt you, but she's more Norwegian. So having strong Norwegian heritage in my wife's family, I've heard all about the Norwegian, Swedish, what do they call that? Rivalries, I guess, for lack of a better term. But yeah, interesting. And her parents think they can speak Norwegian, but no. The pronunciation is all strange. They don't know what to do with the special characters, but they try, I guess. But they pass it off as though they can speak it. And we actually went to a Norwegian festival in Minneapolis that was held at the Swedish Institute because they share a building. Funny enough, if you know any backstories there. And I got to ask native Norwegian people to say certain things. And I was right. My in-laws were completely wrong. I know it doesn't matter. Anybody watching, but it's funny. It's just funny. Because we have children. Actually, all the grandchildren except one have Norwegian names. in the family, with some with special characters, and it's very interesting talking to people who say, I asked them to say my kid's name, the native speakers, and one woman was from the south, and she said it very like not Americanized, but it was what you would expect someone in the United States to say my kid's name. And the other woman, who is from the north, said it completely differently. And then they had this friendly battle about north versus south in Norway, and it was so funny. She's like, you say it like that because you're trash. The other one's like, oh, you just think you're so posh and you say it like this. Oh my gosh, it was so funny to hear them argue over how to say my kid's name. It was awesome. I loved it. It was super entertaining. Alrighty, there you go. There's my Norway story, I guess. Alrighty, we're over the heart of Bjornfjorden. So now we're headed for the airport, which is Bravo Romeo, which is right there. So now we go back to 303 degrees, and we're looking for a decent sized airstrip. So let's go back 303 degrees, and now we'll just navigate using the GPS as we know where the airport is. I'm not going to worry about timing. I'm not going to worry about heading too much, although this will get us started. So let's stop this, and let's actually put this away because you don't need to see it. It's just interface now. I guess never mind, go like that. Okay, so there we go. 303 degrees, just to get us in the right direction. And we're going to aim for the airport, and hopefully it's not. Well, yeah, it'll be a dog leg to the right, which is perfect. So let's go like this until we see the runway, and then we'll land. Let's keep our altitude. There is some terrain between here and there. Alrighty, leaving Bjornfjorden. Any more Norway stories other than rambling about my in-laws who speak Norwegian and they don't speak Norwegian? I don't think so. I know Kjotleik isn't my only Norwegian viewer. I have a lot of subscribers to the channel from the Nordics. I don't know why, but I love it. It's awesome. So a lot of you watching probably know this area. Oh, we got some big cargo ships underwater down there. But just check out the scenery. Again, this is 10 out of 10 stuff here. Satellite plus autogen. Oh my gosh, like those trees. Seriously. Let's hop outside a second so we take the airplane out of the way, because the airplanes are very cartoonish. I'll get to in a second, but let's look at this, right? If I said there's a photograph, you would have no reason to doubt me. If I'm like, here's a photograph of the area. Look at that. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Little islands. Those of you who don't know, I love little islands because I love nature, but I'm scared of animals in the woods, daytime and nighttime. So little islands like this, it'd be really easy to see if there's any big animals that can kill you. Wow, just imagine living there. And then the access to the water. See, I'm not a beach person at all. I don't get beaches. But shorelines I get. So like to live here and then be able to go up to this water surrounded by trees, that is like, that's the most perfect scenery right there. Right there, that is it. For me, that's as perfect as it gets, and they can go out to an island and not have to worry about animals getting you, because there aren't going to be many animals on little tiny islands. Because yeah, so I'm covering a bunch of topics. One, animals. I'm scared of animals. I just scared. Like, we camped in the woods once, and also scared of deer and bear getting us. I just couldn't handle it. Oh, we have a runway in view, so let's take autopilot off, get comfortable in our chairs. The other thing, I'm not a beach person. I don't get beaches at all. I mean, to each their own, obviously, right? To each their own, but I do not get beaches. Like, why would you sit and cook somewhere? I get the relaxing aspect. I totally get, like, doing nothing and relaxing, because I have a hammock in the backyard. When I can, I'll sit on it in the spring, summer, and fall, lie on it, take a nap. Just depends what the kids are doing. But I do not get beaches and cooking. I mean, I've been to beaches, and I've, like, gone in the water and stuff, not swimming, for a very, very short time, and then leaving. But I don't understand bringing a book and lying in the sun. Again, to each your own, whatever. But that scenery we saw back there, where you live in that area, and they can go out to the water, and be surrounded by trees like that as long as an animal doesn't get you. I think that's awesome. Super cool. I love it. And the last thing was the scenery. I started talking about that. The scenery, you know, satellite plus autogen, it's amazing. Sometimes it's crappy, but this area, this is perfect. But the airplanes are so cartoonish. I don't understand. You're coming down. I don't understand why the airplanes are so cartoonish. That's the only thing I miss about X-Plane 11 is the airplanes, especially the high-end payware ones. Even the default ones are like photoreal inside and outside. But the airplanes in Microsoft Flight Simulator, they're so cartoonish. Like, the outside they're cartoonish, the inside they're cartoonish. I don't quite understand why, when everything else is so spectacular. But whatever. Alrighty, here we go. Let's land this thing. I've rambled way more than I should have. Look at that, though. Jeez. I'll often ramble a lot and then cut it out in editing, but for this one, I left it in for you. I'll always say that. Alrighty, here we go. Gears down right into flap range. And we'll land as long as we don't crash. It'll save and we'll move on and we won't have to worry about redoing the leg. Let's see here. How many flaps do we have in this one? 2 set of flaps, okay. And second set of flaps. Are we 3 in 1? 3 red on the Pappy? Well, that's weird. I feel like we're too high, but maybe not. Well, let's keep our speed up a little bit. I'm distracted by the mountain peak just to the right of center in the distance. But we're landing, we're not sightseeing right now. Alrighty, here we go, coming in. Last time we stalled and ground effects saved us. But let's have a more smooth landing here. Aim for those numbers. Throttles back over the threshold. Round out a little bit. Let ground effects. There we go. Ground effects. Whoa. And boom. 150 feet per minute. Not as smooth as it could have been, but smooth enough. Nose wheel down gently on the brakes. Keep the yoke back a little bit. And we should see the save icon, and there it is. And we made it. Alright. I think it was only supposed to be 23 minutes. That took way longer than it was supposed to. But there you go. You know the drill. 1 leg per video. So that's it for this. Like and subscribe so you know when the next leg comes out. And I'll see you next time.